time I close my eyes, every time I close my time I close my eyes.
Big up, guys. How is everyone? Welcome back, guys. This is we're going to do a bit of everything in this show today. We're going to look at Liverpool Wolves for tomorrow. We're going to do the preview for that. We're also going to do Jurgen Klopp's press conference in about an hour. So at 1:30, we'll be doing the press conference with Jurgen Klopp, and then and also look, we're going to have to talk about it. The news broke this morning. Liverpool's financials are out, and as you can tell, Liverpool Twitter have not taken it too well. They've just not taken it well at all. So we're going to have to chat about that. We've got Cav on the show coming up soon as well. He'll be here soon. So, yeah, a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. But first, I just want to show everyone this. Yeah. James Milner has set the whole talk to Jurgen Klopp over his future at the end of the season. However, there's a big chance the 37-year-old leaves Liverpool to make way for the midfield rebuild happening this summer. Yeah. Well, there you go. It looks like that he set the whole talks with Jurgen. I love James Milner, but he's got to go. You know, James Milner has to leave. We can't go into 23-24 season with James Milner and Jordan Henderson still in our squad. You just can't. We have to move on. One has to go. For both to go. But one has to go. And it looks like Hendo is on his way. But the set the whole talks thing. You know what Kloppo's like. You know, it might just keep him. Who knows? Who knows? But I love Milner as a player. I actually prefer Milner as a player to Henderson. I feel Milner at 37 still gives us more than Hendo does at 32. But it's time for Milner to go. It is time for Milner to go. And, yeah, hopefully he doesn't stay. We can't have Milner and Henderson in this squad come next year. We just can't. It'd be diabolical. Good morning, Bajan Barnes. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, comment. And Jen, Psychedelic, Duran, Edward in the ads, Eddie. Hope you're all doing well, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, so Liverpool financials have come out. When Cav comes in, we're going to really chat about it a lot. But yeah, it's Liverpool Twitter, as you can tell, have taken it superbly well. They've taken it really well. You know, there's been no outrage or anything like that. Oh, man. So basically, Liverpool made £7.5 million profit, right? So what everyone is outraged about is that Liverpool only made £7.5 million profit. And yeah, we got Cav in the show. He's going to go through it with us. But yeah, Liverpool Twitter not taking it well. Let's just put it that way. Let's get Cav into the show. Be out, Cav. How you doing, mate?
Hey, up, mate. You okay?
Yeah, not bad. Look,
Good,
last time we met,
good.
look at the change in me. Clean shaven, haircut since last time we met.
Looking very fresh. Took 10 years off you, mate.
Yeah, 10 years to be back on after this show, I'm sure. Big up to Jem with a £20 donation. Big up, Jem. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. The press conference is at 1 p.m. We'll be doing it live. So everyone will be listening to Jurgen's press conference at 1:30 with us on the show. And then we'll react to that after. Jay, you've seen the accounts. We are 80 million behind that doped up state. Yeah, these accounts, man. Have you had to look through them yet, Kev?
I've not properly. No, I've seen like a very, very quick breakdown of where the sort of expenditure has gone. But I've not studied them properly yet, so I probably won't say too much because I'll probably end up looking silly. But I think, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I think the club had a record revenue, which we know about. But I think the long and short of it is what we've spent is almost virtually what we've made.
Yeah,
I think the profits aren't particularly great. So
no, £7.5 million profit.
Yeah.
So this is what a lot of like. So let me. First, I'll just show you this. So I don't know if you see. Oh no, not that. Where is it? Oh, hang on. I did have it a minute ago. Hang on. Where is it? Right, that's gone. Let me get that off. Let me get the one I was meant to have on. So I've got the Liverpool website and we can go through it there. But yeah, James Milner set to talk to Jurgen Klopp apparently. So there's talk that he might sign a new contract or he might, but it looks like he will be leaving.
Yeah.
So Liverpool Football Club today filled its financial accounts for the year of May 31st, 2022. The summary of the financial period covers the full season post-pandemic. Media revenue fell by 5 million to 261 million. Matchday revenue rose by 83 million to 86 million. Mm-hmm. Obviously, because there was no one in attendance. So, you know, obviously the revenues go, the Matchday revenues go rise. Commercial revenue rose by 29 million to 247 million. Advert costs rose by 69 million to 545 million. That's the big number. Overall revenue rose by 107 million to 594 million. And this is the bit everyone's highlighting at the moment. The profit before tax was 7.5 mil. After winning the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and for the 8th and 9th time respectively, this reporting period covers a season when Liverpool played in every game possible, 63 matches in total. The reported media revenue, however, did reduce by 5 million as a result of the Premier League extending the 2019-20 season with additional games played beyond the previous reported period as a result of the pandemic. The pandemic period also impacted reported matchday revenue, a significant increase of 83 million, which is a result of going from no supporters to the previous season to full capacity, like we said. Commercial revenue increased by 29 million, with strong growth in partnerships and the reopening of non-matchday operations with the global retail stores and stadium tours and museum centre. A total of 8 new partnerships were signed throughout that period, including Sonos. I don't know who that one is, Kanesha. Visa Print, Wasabi. Our partnership was renewed. Football simulation game partner EA Sports. In the retail operations, this period also saw another record-breaking kit sale with Nike partnership bringing more global distribution opportunities. The club also added 51 new shop locations. What is a shopping shop? Locations, signed 19 new that don't make sense. A new shopping shop.
A shopping shop.
I don't know what that means.
I think it means an actual retail outlet as opposed to online shop.
It's online. I've got you. And signed 19 new international licensing deals. E-commerce also grew with mobile transactions increasing by over 60% and shipping NFC products to over 190 countries. Digitally, the club gained 21 million new social media followers. It's mad how this is taken now. That social media is so big, they put that into their revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the total followers to 127 million across the social media channels. Liverpool is also one of the 4 global football clubs to record over 5 billion video views, and it's the largest viewing figures in world football on YouTube. Wow.
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
That's
Largest viewing figures in world football on YouTube.
that's the yeah. All right. Someone's coming with. The cost of football continued to rise throughout the period of with admin expenses increasing by 69 million to 545 million, which is due to the increase in salary costs, matchday overhead costs in the past 5 years. Annual operating costs for Anfield have increased by nearly 40%. The profit before tax for this reported period was 7.5 million. Liverpool moved up 4 places to third position in the Football Money League report of 21-22. On the pitch, here we go. Oh god! On the pitch, 7 new players were signed, including Canate, Diaz, Carvalho, Doak, and Clark. 22 current player contracts were extended throughout that period, with Jordan Henderson, Harvey Elliott, Andy Robinson, Ali Becker, Devin Pacetic, and Diogo Jota all signing long-term deals. Andy Hughes, Liverpool's manager and director, said some of the numbers in the last accounts look slightly skewed as a result of the previous reporting period being impacted by the global pandemic. However, the underlying strength of our financial position remains strong, and we continue to operate a sustainable club, which is our main objective from the financial perspective. Now, Cav, that's where a lot of people have major issues, ain't it? Is with the club, the owners want that last sentence is, where is it? We continue to operate as a sustainable club. So we are that's what a club are trying to be. They're trying to be a revenue grossing club where they grow on sustainability and spend what they earn.
Yeah.
Spend what they earn. And the problem is if you only make so much money, that's what you're spending. Where a lot of people, are quite upset by that. They want the hundreds of millions of pounds spent right now. So that's obviously something that a lot of people are talking about. It's really great having supporters back at Anfield and returning to some sort of normality after a really challenging period for everyone. For our men's team to play a maximum of 63 games in this reported season is an incredible achievement, and winning more trophies is exactly what we continue to strive for. Our women's team was also our success, gaining promotion to the WSL was a great achievement and exactly what needs them to be competing. The cost of running a football club does continue to rise, but we maintain our position of growing this club with significant investment, with new and exciting players signing contracts, and the construction of the new Anfield Road stand, which look forward to coming on stream in the summer. In the last 5 years, we've invested over £250 million in infrastructure and created a world-class facilities for our players and staff and supporters. What's important now is to finish this season as strong as possible, both on and off the pitch, while we continue to manage costs, explore opportunities, and growth in our commercial operations. So we continue to reinvest revenues in players and infrastructure. There we go. What do you say about that?
Do you know what my initial sort of thoughts are on it?
Yeah, sorry.
Is that so we've got a record amount of revenue for the year. We knew that, didn't we? And when we spoke about that when it was released at the time, I think it was it a few months back now? Can't remember when it first came out. But we were all saying, okay, let's wait and see till like the expenditures released, so we can work out how much money is being spent. We can understand if it's true that we are running this sustainable model, and when everybody says that we spend what we earn to see whether that is actually fact. It looks like it is the case. And really, I think what everybody, and obviously I don't speak for all the Liverpool fans, is what we're looking for is to see how much money is left over. Because I think the thing at the forefront of everybody's mind is how much money are we going to have come the summer to spend on new players. And when you look at the amount we've made, and we've made really good strides in our revenues, we're also, got an increased wage bill and an increased expenditure on, I think it was down as administration costs and things like this. So there actually isn't a lot of funds there, so it seems, to actually go out and sign some players based on those figures, which is a little bit concerning. And then the other part of it is they spoke a lot about contracts, and players being on high salaries and tying these guys down and this and that. And that all sounds great until you have a season like we've had where the players that have signed these contracts don't look like they're worth the contract we've given them. So now we find ourselves in a bit of a sticky situation whereby the guys were so good up until, the end of last year, gave them the new contracts, committed to spending that money on wages for current players as opposed to going out and signing new players. And now they're not performing as we'd expect. So where does that really leave us? There's some standout names. I know a lot of people are upset with Henderson and the money he's on. And there's others in there, but where does that leave you in terms of funds to go and replenish the squad? I think is my initial kind of concern. But yeah, like look at them figures there. I mean, Matchday revenue has gone up ever so slightly, and that will increase with obviously the completion of the expanded stadium. So in the future, that will get better as well. Media revenues there or thereabouts, down slightly, but relatively, negligible cost. The commercial revenue has gone up. That's all great, but administrative costs have gone up by 70 million.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's. And this is the thing with the sustainable model. When you spend what you earn, how you spend that money is so crucial. And it's just, I can totally understand why the money was spent on these contracts and improving everything. But like I say, the guys who gave the contracts to are actually the people that are slightly letting us down at the minute. So that's a slight worry. I'd have loved to, and I'm sure everybody would have loved to have seen this expenditure and see a load of profit in there and go, oh, great, we're one of the top 5 clubs in the world in terms of revenue. And we're really, really smart as to how we spend our money as well. And we've got this money left over to maybe go out and throw it a busy summer. But I'm just going off these figures, and obviously we'll have to dive into them a bit more and understand them a bit more. There might be some hidden costs in there that are for player acquisitions, but just on the surface, 7.5 million profit before tax. That don't sound like it's going to get you a lot, does it?
And that's what a lot of people were saying. So, like a lot of people were saying today, we had that year last season when we played every game possible there is to play in football.
Yeah.
Went to every final, went away. We like being runners up in the Premier League eventually, runners up in the Champions League, but winning the domestic double, and all we've got from that is £7.5 million profit. That is what people are looking at and thinking, what's going on?
And, that's a really good point, because what does that mean for this year, where we're not going to play all them games and we're not in finals?
Well, it's going to be a big loss, ain't it?
Well, that's kind of what it suggests, which is obviously a worry again, because. Yeah, go on. Sorry,
I've got to show you something else here as well. So this is David Lynch's. This is what David Lynch. Big up David Lynch for breaking this all down a little bit for us. So he says, I also understand that the balance of FSG's loan to the club remains at 71.4 million, with repayments having been sensibly paused since the pandemic. The club's external bank loan, currently being used to fund the Anfield Road expansion, stands at 88 million, down from 128 million. Big emphasis on the rising costs involved in running a football club in Liverpool's statement. Figures from the last 5 years make that hard to argue with. Staff costs up by 76%. Administrative expenses up to 70%. Anfield running costs up to 40% have swallowed a lot of the revenue growth. And while long-term spending power should be improved by the imminent completion of the Anfield Road end, revenue up and costs down. These figures make clear that the short-term boost of selling a minority stake in Liverpool will be fairly handy ahead of what needs to be a big summer. Obviously, I could go into the comments after. That would just be hilarious on its own as a show, but we we won't go into that right now. But yeah, like this is the thing, when Anfield Road's done, obviously revenue will be up and the costs will be down. So in 2 years' time, I would say in 2 years' time, that the revenue that you could see that Liverpool could be getting up 100 million from Matchday revenue. And
in addition to what they currently earn,
and the costs will be down as well because there's no more building work. So in 2 years' time, the running this football club will be a lot better. The problem is this club needs serious investment now and not in 2 years' time. And as they say, we made 7.5 million profit from one of the best years we've ever had as a Liverpool fans, and that is just a little bit hard to take at the moment.
So when the stadium expansion's complete, obviously we're paying for that at the moment. So that's an expenditure. When that's complete, that expenditure stops, and then obviously when people are buying the tickets for them seats, that's going to increase, the Matchday sales tickets, which is a good thing. But obviously that's not going to be completed till next year. So maybe that's why they're looking at this investment is maybe just a bit of a short-term, not a short-term loan, because whoever invests is going to have a permanent piece of the pie, if you like. But maybe it's just to fill a bit of a void in terms of money we can spend on players. So maybe it's just like they're looking for a short-term investment for this summer, and then from the following summer onwards, they'll actually be so sustainable and making so much money that they feel like they can just whatever they do generate and whatever they do make as profit, they can put back into player acquisitions. But I think a good point was raised in the chat about there'll be no bonuses paid out this year, and that is a good point. And that will impact things slightly, but at the same time we've handed out bigger contracts to players whereby it's less bonus incentivized, there's more committed spending, so there's also that to take into account. There's lots of details within these costs that you could break down, and you could also look at the fact that there's players leaving for free at the end of the summer, so there's like all that committed spend on wages that's going to be freed up. We probably look to sell on some players. So in terms of player wages and the money there that we would usually spend there, that's going to now become free to potentially reinvest into new players. So it's not as though we're saying 7.5 million is all we've got to spend on players. That's not going to be the case.
No, that's just the profits from the whole revenue year. That's all it is. Yeah, exactly.
I just think like when you look at the very basic sums and basic figures, you'd have liked to have seen us walk away with a little bit more. When you're told that we're what were we in that Deloitte's list? Third, were we?
Third,
in terms of revenue. If you're third in global football, you'd like to think you're walking away with a bit more profit than 7.5 million.
I like to see what the other two profits are. I like to see what Real Madrid and Man City's profits were.
Yeah,
I like to see what their profits were, because if it's all done by the book, it might not be that much more. I mean, Real Madrid's revenue income will be higher than Liverpool's, obviously, because who they are. But they've not had a stadium their previous year, so their revenue might actually. That's why I think they finished second, because they had a stadium, haven't they? Because they're building it. So it'd be interesting. I replied to someone on there. I said and everyone's saying about the 7.5 million, which I find mad. I've got to admit, but a lot of teams don't make a profit. We've got to remember
that is a very true.
A lot of teams don't actually make any profit. So the owners will see Liverpool as a profitable business.
Yeah.
People might not like that, but they're going to see it as a profitable business. James Beer says they're analysing Liverpool's accounts of tail record revenue and spiraling costs. No repayment on FSG loan for the main stand during the accounting period. The balance still stands at 71.4 million.
Yeah.
So no repayments because they put a pause on it because of the pandemic. I know this is a... This is one that fans don't like. That the loan was taken out to build. Like we're basically building it from our own money, the stand and all that, and FSG are not paying for it themselves. And I think that's what a lot of people are uproar about because of that. But what you got to remember as well. So you got Man City, right? So everyone always goes to Man City because that's what we do for some reason. So everyone keeps going about Man City, Man City. Man City actually lease their stadium. They don't own it, right? They lease it, right? A bit like West Ham. West Ham were given a big stadium, but Boris Johnson just gave them a stadium. You know, it's just like here you go. So they're just renting it. You know, they're just so City are leasing their stadium. They don't actually own the stadium. So it's different. Where Liverpool, like they own the stadium, so it's a lot different on that side of things.
Yeah. The thing is, like when they say the balance stands at 71.4 million, so that's the money that the club owes FSG. You don't know how to really take that because they might when Liverpool start to generate more profits, maybe at the end of next financial year, they could take it out of that. They could take it out of the next few years because we're expecting Liverpool to make more profits because of the stadium expansion and everything else being completed. So in the years to come, we're expecting, we're expecting the revenues to increase, but more so, I think we're expecting the expenditure to go down a little bit. And so maybe they take the profits out of that. Maybe when they reach a point in time where they go to sell their club, they factor it into that sale price. I don't know. So when we're told that we still owe them that amount of money, it's hard to work out what the actual impact of that is on the club and how that might affect sort of, again, player acquisitions. Because if truth be told, if like Caroline in the canteens on 10 grand more than we think she is, do we really care? No, still part of the cost of running the club. But what we're really concerned about is, have we got money to sign players, and have we got the money to give the players that we want to keep the contracts that they feel they deserve? And like I say, we don't really know what the impact on them things is, do we? So
no, and it says here as well. This is where everyone This is the main sticking point for a lot of people that they're debating on this morning. So, Liverpool have announced their club revenues of new record revenues of 594 million, as recorded as pre-tax profit of 7.5 million. But this is a bit of one's like, what the hell? The club's wage bill will be rocketed from 314 million to 366 million from last season, and increased by 17%. Now, it makes our wage bill the third highest in Europe, apparently. Now, what people are arguing about online is because, Twitter's a lovely place to be, that. So what everyone's arguing about online is that how has Liverpool got a higher wage bill than Chelsea, Man United, teams like that, and when they apparently pay bigger wages to us. The problem is, this is done. What people got to remember is the odd person at some clubs might get 300 grand a week. A lot of players at some clubs might be getting hardly anything, and it's based on annually wage. So if you look at Liverpool probably give big wages to a lot of them. But I mean, Jordan Henderson's on 180 bags a week. You know what I mean? It's, no one's on little wages here. And plus we have a lot of bonuses on top of them. Liverpool had a great season. The 17% increase is probably because Liverpool played every game last year and got to a Champions League final, went second in the league, won the domestic double. They probably got a lot of bonuses on top of their wages in the end of that year. So, yeah, that's why it's rocketed up. A lot of people are conspiracy theorists, Cav, and say that FSG are making up the wages and and all this thing. I don't know if they legally can do that. But yeah, what do you reckon the wage bill there increasing by quite a lot?
I think the point you made about bonuses is quite significant. Like, we had an unbelievable season last year, competing for all 4 trophies to the very, very death, played almost every single game we possibly could. And when we talk about bonuses, it's not just like, goal and assist bonuses and stuff. It's appearance fees, and it's, sub fees, and it's you know, if you play this amount of games in a season, you probably get a payout and stuff as well. So always round, the more games that the guys played last season, the more they'd have been earning bonus wise, you know, because I'm sure they'd have been achieving their individual targets and team targets. So yeah, we'd have spent a lot more on bonuses, and incentives would have been paid out. And then obviously we've gone through a period of handing out, you know, bigger contracts. Like I say, you know, especially the Mo Salah one, whereby a lot of his sort of contract was incentivized and on bonuses. Now it's actual, you know, base salary that is we're committed to spending. So we have given these guys bigger contracts. You know, Virgil's in there as well, Henderson, as you mentioned, without anybody on significant wages going out. So it's just gone up and up and up. You know, there's not been anybody that's really left the club that is on a particularly big wage. Now, hopefully, this is going to be the summer where we actually readjust that and we sort that out. So if Keita leaves and Oxlade-Chamberlain leaves, you know, maybe Milner, maybe Bobby, there are going to be guys that are on good money that will be leaving the club. And if we can make smart signings that are on less money, then we can probably start to fall back in line with whereby how much we're spending on wages is a fair reflection of how good the team is. Because like I say, I think the wages last season, if you looked at all that we were achieving, you'd see, yeah, that's probably fair. Third highest spenders on wages in Europe. Yeah, cool. But we're one of the best teams in Europe. So that makes sense. Whereas now we find ourselves still one of the top spenders in Europe, but miles off, you know, being one of the best around. So we just need to like be smart in the summer, get the right players off the books, bring the right players in on the right money, and we can start to level it all out. But I think one positive you can take from it is the club have managed their finances in such a way that they've been able to hand out these bigger contracts and hand out these bonuses whilst not being a detriment to the club. Do you know what I mean? To still make profit. You made the point earlier. A lot of clubs don't make profit. A lot of clubs probably have to hand out these bonuses and these contracts and commit to spending, but really they can't support it. You know, it's kind of a bit of a wish and a hope, and then the players go out and achieve these things and they realize that, you know, they've got to pay them, and then they get themselves in all sorts of bother. So we shouldn't dismiss the fact that actually we've been able to give players bigger contracts, been able to compete on a lot of fronts, been able to honor the sort of bonus system that we set out, and we've still managed to make some profit. Let's call it break even, which is also a positive thing. It's the only thing that's not positive is I think there's some players at this club that are on bigger contracts than they perhaps deserve right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's one thing Liverpool need to do. I think they need to get the wage bill down a little bit, because you can't keep that, you know. If it like, I know people keep saying we're cooking the books, there's no way that wage bill is that. You got to remember, it's just not players, it's the manager. Remember, Klopp and his team all signed brand new deals. You know, and I think Klopp kept his wage the same, but all his staff got an increase in pay. What is it? They said we signed 21 new contracts were signed in that year. Also, we bought 7 new, and then we bought 7 new players as well. So a lot was, you know, so that is going to increase the wage bill. You know, it's going to increase it. No one's really signing a new deal for less money. No, everyone. If 21 new contracts were signed in that year, that's not just the players, that's the staff, and they're all making.
I think
more money.
Did Milner take less?
More money. Milner took less. Milner took less because, you know, he's at an age where he's like he's a multi-millionaire. It don't really matter to him, but everyone else signed new contracts and new deals, so everyone's going to get. So the money's going to go up. No, you know, if you got 22 new contracts. Apart from James Milner, 21 of them all got pay rises and new lengths on their deals. And probably on that, they got bonuses as well.
Yeah.
So the increase on that will be massive.
Which is probably deserved, because up until this season, they were justifying that decision. Whereas we've just got to a point this season where players have kind of fell off, haven't they? The wheels have come off. And now it's like, was that such a right decision? But I think at the time, handing out contracts to these guys was the right call. You know, you can look at Salah. You know, he's probably the most significant one. You know, on over 300 grand a week now, highest standard in the club's history. And we were basically going, for the most part of last season, going, is this guy going to sign? Every single week we were talking about it. Is he going to sign? Is he going to sign? He's one of the best forwards in the world. He's so key to what we do. He should be paid the same amount as the top stars in the Premier League and in Europe, because that's his level. We're tired of Liverpool losing players because they don't hand out these contracts. So what do? We went and committed and gave him that contract. And now he's having a season whereby he's not living up to the levels that he'd previously set. It's not all down to him. But when you're talking finances, does he represent the value that you've now put on him? And in my opinion,
we don't.
Maybe not. No.
And he's getting 350 basic. We don't know about the add-ons. Mo could be making close to 500 grand a week with everything added onto his contract, more than likely. And if that's the case, what's that a year? That's why the wages have gone up. And the 20 other people that signed a new deal, apart from Milner, all got a pay rise. Then you bought 7 new players. They got all new contracts. Don't forget they get signing on fees and all that sort of stuff as well. Even when you sign a new contract, guys, don't forget, when you sign a new contract, most of the time you get a signing on fee as well. Even if you're signing a brand new deal, you can get some kind of signing on fee, some kind of incentive to sign that deal. So that is why it's all gone up. And the problem is, which I can see why people are saying it. So FSG have signed got this revenue now, massive revenue, third in the world for revenue, only £7.5 million profit. It shows where football for me is going, that you need deep, deep pockets now. You need owners with real deep pockets if you want to compete at the highest level and stay there. If you want to stay there, Liverpool did everything humanly possible to complete football last year and only made £7.5 million profit. That just shows you what you need now in an ownership. You need owners just like, I'd love to see City's profits when that comes out. I'd love to see what they made, because, they won the league and they went out before us in the Champions League. They didn't win the cup, any other domestic cups. I'd love to see what profits City made, because that's going to be, and Real Madrid, where are we with that? I mean, I don't know Bayern Munich's profits, Juventus's profits, Arsenal's profits, Chelsea are going to make no profit. Forget about that. But, it's just, it'd be very interesting to see. There you go, Nick, because he's a City fan. Big up. Nick said 41.7 City made Jamie. There you go. Big up, Nick. So £41 million. That's because of deep pockets. Liverpool run by what they earn. And if you run by what you earn, we are never going to have massive profits. It's just, it's the way it is.
But the more you earn, the more you spend, suggests that you'll be making improvements as a club, which we are. Not on the pitch right now, but as a club and the infrastructure around it, we are improving. So, you either make all this money, spend the same as you did the previous year and stand still, but have money in the bank, or you spend all this money on trying to improve. Naturally the club will cost more to run each year on year. That's just the way of the world. But if we are spending what we're earning and we're earning a lot more year on year, then that suggests the club's improving. Like I say, I feel like I'm not too concerned actually that there's not been a lot of profits made, because even if we'd have broke even, I can still see all the improvements we've made as a club. But it's just purely I'm sort of just a bit fixated on the wage bill and what value that wage represents. But that's also, like I say, though, players are going to be leaving in the summer. That's going to free up some wages to maybe go out and get some new players in, make on the same money or less. But if they're on the same money, they've got to be, better value for that money. So it's not the end of the world, but it kind of does. The figures do support the argument and what the about the investment, because it clearly shows that they've got to get some money somewhere for this summer to be able to go get some players in. So
yeah, definitely. And like the way, as you say, with the wages, look, we will never know, because they are never going to tell us. It's going to be hard to find what everyone in our club actually earns with bonuses, right? unless they report that, which they don't have to, by the way, unless they report that, because you know some teams don't always report what a transfer is. That's why it's undisclosed. Yeah, you know, unless they report what everyone is on in the club with bonuses included, we just have to take their word for it that this is the wage bill right now. You know, I don't believe in cooking the books and all that sort of stuff, because to do that, you're breaking the rules, you're breaking the law, and you're going to get what's happening to the city right now, because that's what they've been accused of doing. And we ain't been accused of doing that. So, and if a Premier League actually looked at our finances right now, like we just broke it down, they're go look at that and go, no, that's a proper run football club.
Yeah,
that's all they're going to say. And this is the problem. We are well run. Now, people might look the big FSG in people. Anyone who's big like FSG in will look at this now and go to everybody, we're a well run football club. The proof's in the pudding. Here's the list. Here's the payments. And you know, if you want, like, this is what it is. This is what we're doing. We're earning. We're using what we earn to get by, right? And that's what the club are doing, and that's fine. But it comes to a time where the way football's moving right now, you need that extra little bit. You just do, and that's not FSG. Go look at that and go, right. Let's put more money into the club when we're a profitable business. Remember, a profitable business, £1 million profit out of all that is a profitable business. They're going to be happy with that. They're businessmen at the end of the day. They're not Liverpool fans. You know, they're businessmen. And all business people have got different ways of running their businesses. So some people might not be happy with £7.5 million profit. They'd be like, how come we not made that much? You know, but they also might be using other means, you know. Arsenal,
well, the value of the assets increasing.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can break even for the next 10 years, but will probably be worth 10 times as much. Maybe not that much. I'm exaggerating. But the point I'm trying to make is we shouldn't focus so much on whether we're broke even or whether we're making profits, because they'll be focusing on that is the value of the asset increasing, which it is. You know, they bought it for what, 300 million. It's now worth over 4 billion. So clearly they'll be happy with them financial reports. Obviously they produced them, so like they'll be happy with them findings.
And this is a good bit. Why would you cook the books in a negative way? Our wage bill is just high. Yeah. Surely if they were going to cook the books, our wages would be a lot lower, wouldn't they?
I'd be very surprised if they cook the books and stuff like this. Like they run a sustainable model. Like I don't think that would be their approach. The thing with our revenue is the money we generate is it's true. Like it's all genuinely earned, you know, through the sponsorships and what have you. But when you look what we're competing with, you know, that like you just pointed out, Man City's is 41 million. In the grand scheme of things, the difference between 7.5 million and 41 million profit at the end of a financial year isn't great when we're talking about the size of these clubs and the amount of money that's involved. But Man City's is their revenue isn't truly earned. You know, it's just the owners finding ways and means of being able to pump the money in through different avenues, as in made up sponsors and what have you. Whereas Liverpool's is genuine. You know, it's genuinely through marketing and increasing the global fan base. It's increasing the stadium capacity and all things like this. So that's the frustration, is we're doing everything right to try and make this money to then spend on the club again to improve, whereas everybody else is trying, but also then cheating to some extent just to make up the remaining amount. And that's the struggle you've got at the minute.
Look, and I could also see FSG's plan as well. Once everything's completed, what they want to complete, yeah, and the loans are paid back, right? And Anfield's built up to where they want it, the loans are paid back. Liverpool got to rake it in from a revenue standpoint, because there won't be the costs will drop completely. The loans will be paid back, so that'll be all gone, and then Liverpool just making money after money after money through revenue. It'd be huge. So I can see what FSG are trying to do. They're trying to do the Man United way. You know, Man United are basically the revenue kings. You know, they got a 75,000 all-city stadium. Their Matchday revenue must be over 100 million every single year. There's no costs on that either, because they're not actually trying to make the stadium look a little bit prettier and fix the problems there. They're just raking in that cash. And that's why they can spend so much money every single year, because it's guaranteed to come back again next year because the size of their stadium with no cost on top.
Yeah.
So that I can see what FSG's plan is, but the problem is I do think in 2 years' time you're going to start to see that. You know, when loans are paid back, the cost of building the stadium's gone away because it's now a 62,000 all-seater stadium. You know, the operating costs are going to be close to that £100 million barrier every year. With less cost, you're making more profit. So the profit, if anything, is going to probably double next year. I know people were saying, we're going to lose money next season and all that. But if the stadium opens on the first game of the season, which is they're hoping to, Anfield, it's going to be a 62,000 seat stadium, then for that year, and if the costs have gone down a little bit, we'll probably make more profit next year. But it's 2 years after that when you've got a full year, no costs, revenue's going to be higher. Liverpool go treble their profit costs, and that is what FSG are trying to do. The problem is we live in a world where we want everything now and not tomorrow, and that's the problem, and that's the issue right now.
The chat make a good point as well. Champions League football and the money we make from that is also quite important. And obviously, if we miss out this season, you know, and God forbid we miss out next season, that could impact that whole sort of plan slightly. I do think Liverpool would get back into the Champions League at some point because, you know, we make the money, we'll always spend on players, probably not as much as everybody else. So I think we'll spend enough to go and at least compete for that top four again. But it will have an impact on wages, which is like adds to your point about we want things now. I think we kind of need things now as well, because I don't think we want to miss out on that money that we make for it being in Europe. So, although the money is probably to come the following financial year and onwards because of the stadium completion and what have you, we do have to find a way of spending money between now and then to make sure that we stay in Europe and make that money also. So yeah, we've got to, and that's again, that goes back to the investment they're looking for. I think they probably recognise that.
Yeah, that's why they want the investment, because they're thinking like we do. Operating in the way they do at the moment is all good, yeah. But they know if they want the club to be successful, you have to have deeper pockets, which they haven't got. That's why they want investment. That's why they want investment. Because if I'm an investor, and I'm seeing them that breakdown today of the club, I won't actually mind investing into something like that. Because if you're seeing the breakdown, and you're seeing the breakdown of a club that is profitable, investors they're going to be happier investing into a profitable business. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, of course you are. You're not going to invest into something whereby the value of your investment goes down. If you're able to obtain a share of Liverpool right now, the evidence is that the money that you put in is at least you're gonna get back out, but the likelihood is that value of the share is going to increase. Yeah. So it's a brilliant investment when you look at it that basically.
Yeah, that's why I think the club. Now, when I read the thing about Joe Davion, he said like the club's not for sale, but we think investment's very possible. It looks like it'll happen. I think they got something lined up, and as I said, like people keep telling me, why would anyone want to invest? That makes no sense. But when you see a club that is a profitable business with the money that we're talking about, you want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of that, because what investors will think is that if we invest and we keep this club profitable and I see something back on it, eventually I might take over this football club. You know, and start buying more shares and more shares. So
that's the long term goal. But even in the short term, they'll be getting benefits from that anyway. You know, whether it be through, you know, they get their company branding on, you know, part of Anfield or part of the kit or in the marketing and the media stuff, or I don't know, they'll have some kind of, you know, payback in the short term, definitely. So not only is it a wise financial investment, but they will be getting some kind of rewards in the short term as well.
Would you rather pay back an investor or pay back a loan? because that's what you're looking at. I mean, like an investor, no matter what, if it's like a 1 million, whatever percentage of the football club they want to invest in, and it's like a £1 million investment, a £1 billion investment, people might be looking at, why would someone invest £1 billion into this football club? It makes no sense. What are they going to get from it? Well, at the end of the day, they are going to get stuff from it, because it's like taking a loan out from a bank. Liverpool took like a £500 million loan out from a bank, which a bank would loan Liverpool because they can see that Liverpool are a profitable business. Then I'd rather actually have an investor in the football club that might want to keep taking stakes out of the club and keep boosting. If they're putting money into the club and we see it on the pitch, now I'd rather that, because then that investor might own the football club eventually. So yeah,
The only thing with an investor is an investor coming into the club would want a say, so that might impact your running of the club and the model that you have. Whereas with a loan, it's literally just an injection of cash, and you as the owner or the guy that's managing this model that you've agreed to sort of commit to, it doesn't impact you. You just continue doing what you're doing. So I think who invests is also going to be very important to FSG, because I'm sure FSG would probably want some people that come in and have new ideas and can come in and share those ideas and ways of thinking that maybe would benefit us. But I think on the whole, they'll probably just want to continue doing what they're doing and probably just give away enough to be able to get the funds that they want, but not too much that people start, having a significant say in how the clubs run and things like this. So, it's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, I'm just going to take a pause from this discussion a minute, guys, because I've got some news to give you. So, it's quite big news for me anyway. So, I am going to be part of Football Mania Live this year. Football Mania is going to be running from the 25th to the 28th of August at Magazine London next to the O2. I'm going to be part of it, guys. I'm going to be there for the 3 days. We've got our own stall set up. I've got merchandise that we're going to be selling at there at our own stall. So, and I'm going to be doing shows from there as well, guys. So if anyone's interested, you can get your tickets at www.footballmaniaevents.com. It's in the Magazine London next to the O2. They're expecting over 200,000 people over the 3 days. It's going to be good, guys. There's lots of stuff going on there at time. There's going to be a load of football YouTubers. There's going to be lots of events happening as well, and expeditions and everything. So you guys are interested, you can go to www.footballmaniaevents.com and have a look over there, guys. Tickets are available. Come and see me as well, guys. Come and meet me if you want to come over. It's in the Magazine London next to the O2, Football Mania Live 2023. It's a massive opportunity for myself that I'm really, really proud of. So hard work's paying off, and that's down to you guys as well in the chat. I wouldn't be here without you guys, so I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. But yeah, proper chuffed. Yes. The human rights stuff. I mean, that's mad. Let's talk about Wolves. We've got the press conference coming up. When that press conference starts, we'll be tuning into it. But we got Wolves on Wednesday, Kev, after quite a disappointing result against Crystal Palace. Now, I haven't spoke to you since. I saw a little bit of you on Grizz the other night. But it's quite late and I was falling asleep. Not that you were boring or anything. I was just falling asleep. So it's late. But I haven't really heard your opinions on the Palace game. What was your feelings on that Palace game after it was all said and done?
Just disappointed. Obviously got a bit of a hiding from Madrid earlier in the week, so I thought maybe the team would want to sort of come out and respond to that. I didn't feel like they did. It felt flat, felt almost boring at times. It wasn't quite the energy. I felt like we had a bit more control in the game. We just weren't able to create anything, and it's not really a surprise with the midfield that we put out. So, yeah, this really disappointing performance, disappointing result. But that being said, if we go on to win the next game, we could maybe look back and say, look, we took 10 points out of 12, which isn't the worst. Especially when you're competing for the top four. Competing for a title is not good enough, but to try and get that fourth spot, it might not be too bad. Teams have gone to Selhurst Park recently and dropped points where they felt they should have won. So, I think it's just annoying to see the team sort of make improvements, especially against sort of Everton, and then getting a result against Newcastle, and then almost take another step back and showing that inconsistency still. You're just really waiting for this team to really build on the results they were getting and build some confidence and some momentum and try and go on a bit of a winning run. But it don't really look as though that's going to happen this season now. I think we're just going to have to get used to winning a few 2 or 3 games, but then having maybe a disappointing performance and a draw or a loss. Whether that's enough to get in the top 4, I hope it is. But I just disappointing. And I'm now expecting the team to come out and put a response, a responsive performance in against Wolves. We should know exactly what they're about. We've played them, I think this is the 4th time now this season, twice in the FA Cup, once already in the league, in a short period of time as well. Feels like we play them every bloody week at this stage. But we know what they're about. We know what their threats are. We know what the challenges are going to be. We're at home. It's a late kickoff, so we should be... there shouldn't really be any excuses. I think we've got maybe a couple of players back, which I'm sure Klopp's going to tell us about in a sec. But we need to just put that draw into the back of our minds and just go out and get a result now. I don't care. I'm almost at the point where I don't care about performances. Just get results. Just get. I just
want 3 points. Yeah, exactly. Just get the win. I'm with you. Look, I was angry with the Palace game. I thought Klopp was some of the things he'd done tactically just drove me mad. It was the worst game of football I've seen in a long time as well. And I think if we were playing anyone else, we would have got beaten that day. It's just lucky that Palace can't score goals.
Palace were awful as well. And that's the frustrating thing. We're dropping points to these teams that are not even good. Yeah.
I know.
So frustrating.
And that's the annoying thing. Henderson obviously getting in the way of Trent's goal because that was going in. I mean, and then obviously the issues of Trent and Hendo in that game as well, which we'll get to after this press conference, guys. So we're going to listen to the press conference now. I have got the subtitles on, guys. I'm going to leave the subtitles on because I know you guys... Have you seen this with subtitles on yet?
No.
It's hilarious. It is the funniest thing ever. Who he called, right? So... Jurgen Klopp was talking about someone the other day. I think it was another player or something, and the subtitles called him Mother Nature. It's just these subtitles, man, are absolutely hilarious. So what we're going to do, we're going to listen to Jurgen now. Then we're going to break down what he says in his. We'll react to it. We'll break it all down, and then we're going to pick our team to play Wolves. So yeah, let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Oh, let's turn it up.
I just wanted to get your reaction to Virgil van Dijk being named in the FIFA World 11, particularly, I suppose, given some of the criticism that he's taken of late.
Yeah, I don't think he got in this team because of the last 4 or 5 performances. It was because of last year, and I think that's fully and absolutely deserved. Yeah, he obviously liked it a lot. I could see some reaction, so that's cool. He was there. Asked me if he can go there. Yes, of course. It's no problem nowadays, and was back last night as well. So yeah, it's great. So it's was I there? Once I was there. It's a nice event, and so it's worth going for sure.
You said he wouldn't get it on his last few performances. I mean,
I didn't say that. I said he didn't get it because of that. It was for last season. Okay. Please do me a favor.
Apologies for misquoting you on that score.
It's already written, probably. Bomb already out.
But in terms of him getting back to his best levels,
it's completely normal. It's completely normal that but these kind of things. People.
Joe, what are you doing? Bless it.
I'm on mute. There you go. I was just saying, sorry, I forgot I was muted there. I was just saying, Klopp coming straight with the sauce there. That was hilarious.
Yeah, he's just shooting him down straight away.
Don't misquote me. And he's right. He's probably written as well.
players get injured and they come back, and then we say one game we give them, and in the first game probably people say already, it's not at his best yet. Okay, then they give them 3 days more time, and then they should be at their best. How can that work? In the good old times, people said,
did them subtitles just say one gun man? Did them subtitles just say one gun man? I love these subtitles. Keep an eye on them. They're hilarious.
To be back to your best, you need as long as you were injured. Thank God was not true. But whenever 90s, somebody believed that. I know it from my own injury when I had a long-term one, and they told me that, and I was like, okay, that's can be a tough time then. But it's not like this. But it's completely normal that you find rhythm and stuff like this, and it's always important that you still get the minutes. But we get judged every day for the things that people see in this moment, and that's it then. But I don't think it's too difficult to ignore that and just to work yourself through that, and then you will arrive at your best again, and then everything is fine.
And it should be pointed out that you go into this game in the Premier League with 3 consecutive Premier League clean sheets behind you as well. It feels once more that this is a real crucial point. I hate saying this week in, week out. It feels again like a real crucial point in the season. Well, because I kind of need to build it up a little bit.
Yeah, fine.
And with back-to-back
it's
home games,
it's a super important week. You don't have to make it smaller than it is. We cannot ignore that. And why would I?
Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, a bit, please. Welcome. It's we have 2 home games, but we have tomorrow. Thank God, only one. And
why did them subtitles just say we carried a vampire? These subtitles are mad. These subtitles are mad. All right, let's carry on.
2 in 1. But yes, I would love to give the season a little push in this week, and we need results for that. And to get results, we need good performances. So nothing I saw since the last game in training gave me the impression we don't have a chance. The few sessions we had look good. I know we all understand, players as well. So we have to give it a proper go in this game tomorrow night against the team we played more often than any other team, I think, this season. And that's good. So we know a lot about each other. They know, of course, a lot about us as well. But we know it will not be easy, but that's not our news or the most surprising information. So we have to make sure we are ready. And I know Anfield will be. And then we have to do our part.
I just check availability. Diaz, Joe Gomez, Konate, Nunez, Thiago.
Thiago, look at that.
Let's start with a not so positive. Thiago not. He's not. He's in rehab. Luis, I watched half an hour the rehab session out on the pitch individually.
Hang on. Thiago's in rehab. What's he addicted to? What's Thiago's addiction, man? What's he in rehab for?
Things are worse than we thought.
Addicted to chocolate, everyone's saying. Right, let's listen.
Yeah. Shooting, moving, looks all really good, but was not in team training yet, so that will then, that's probably the decisive impact.
What did you say there?
Joe Gomez is out, with a muscle problem. Ibu trained yesterday completely normal, and Darwin as well.
Hang on. The subtitles just said Evil. Evil trained well yesterday instead of Ibu. So Ibu trained, that's good.
And now we have to see how he, especially, I think for Ibu, it's going to be. Had no issues since he was injured. We just wanted to give him more training time before we include him again, and that should be now fine. And what was the other? Darwin. Yeah, we have to see. It's a shoulder. It looked absolutely okay yesterday, but I don't know before. Some of the people will tell me how he reacted on yesterday.
Hi.
Hi.
Obviously, a 4th meeting in 11 games against Wolves. So is there anything you don't know about him? Is it difficult to prepare when you've already played them?
So did he say Diaz is back in training as well there?
He said I think he said Diaz is in rehab as well, but he's shooting and running and stuff as well now. So it sounds like he's not too far off, actually. But he's
Yeah,
not in
and-
team. He's not in team training. So obviously, as we
No.
know with Klopp, he's got to do it. He's got to be in team training for a few sessions before he's considered to be picked. So yeah, probably like a week or two away, maybe.
Canate wants a great news though. We need him back in this team desperately.
Yeah. Sounds like he's going to be available actually.
Yeah, and Nunez was fine yesterday, so I hope he's all right today because yeah, he was missed. He was desperately missed.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, not more difficult. No, it does make it more difficult. We have the last games. We saw them different lineups to the different lineups to when we played them. So it's a mix of the last information and the information we had from our games. So that's pretty much all. No, makes it not more difficult. It's a bit strange, but it's not the first time. Maybe I think that once when I'm here with Arsenal weeks, we play them twice in 4 days in different competitions, stuff like this. So we always have that from time to time, completely fine. No, it's okay.
saw the return of Diogo Jota at Palace's first start, I think, for sort of 4 months or so. How important could his return be in these final sort of few months of the season?
It's massive, of course. Joe is an exceptional player, and the next one who was injured, stuff like this, and needs to get rhythm now. I think it helped him a lot. Yes, was tired, of course, after the game. That's clear. Same with him. We have to see how he reacted. Then finally today we have to make these kind of decisions: who can start or who should start, and then. But he will definitely be involved again if nothing happens. And yeah, it's a top-class player, so it's great. It's versatile. Can play on the left wing, can play in the center, so and on the right wing as well. So that's really helpful for this busy period we are having now. So fine.
Jurgen, after the last time you played Wolves, if I remember, you said that you left the players alone for like 48 hours, 2 days.
3-0.
Yes,
Yeah.
it wasn't that long ago. Will you revisit that, or will you talk about that in the build-up to this, or would you just leave it where it belongs?
I don't have to pick up the feeling again after that game. The players know it anyway, but there are important informations from that game. So, like which we need to use. To which extent, I will have to see more. The other. We like to, and we have to, and we usually do focus on ourselves. So. Now it's the last game we played against Crystal Palace is as important as the last game we played against Wolves. So there's different informations, but it's all important. And my job is to make sure which information I give to the players, because I have all of them, but there are definitely too many information. So now I have to figure out which we give to the boys. And one part of it will be, without saying it, probably we lost there last time 3-0. So it was not a cool day. It was actually the opposite of that. But main difference, we will play at Anfield. So and we have to make sure that we have to make that countable as well. And and I don't think Wolves sits now there. And my colleagues says last time we smashed them 3-0. So don't worry. Everything will be fine. So these are different games, and even 2-3 weeks in between games are massive. It's a long period, and so it's not a big point.
I just wondered, because it's a case of, as you say, how important the crowd will be tomorrow night as well. That you want to put it right tomorrow night. What happened?
We want to put it right, yes, but we want to. How I said, I'm more focused on giving the season a proper push. I think that would be really cool. We felt that now, that like each game we won, everybody's immediately excited that God, because it always looks like okay, can get a bit closer. So now if we can get a bit closer, then you can with the next game we can get more closer. These kind of things. So it's not always about things putting right. It's just finally, I was said after the game, we have to make sure that not only result-wise, but emotionally as well. It's not like I was up and down and up and down. We need to find a steady mood, yes, mixed up with greed, passion, desire, all these kind of things, but not after you draw. You cannot smash everybody and say, how could you do that? Or we lose. And after we win, oh, you are the greatest. And so let's work together for the next 20 years. So it's not, we have to be clear, and we are, but that we have to show on the pitch as well.
Carlos.
Hi, Jurgen. We mentioned about the 3 clean sheets you've had since that Wolves game. How happy you've been with the defending in those 3 games, and especially when you've had centre-half changes as well during those games?
Yeah, in between, we conceded 5. We cannot ignore that completely. Yes, even it was Real Madrid, but generally the defending was absolutely okay. Like most of the things are okay, but we have to make sure that we bring that all together to the next level. So I love Ali making saves, but I will have no massive problem with him making no save in a game, and not because he concedes so many, but because they don't have a shot on target. So there are different ways of defending. You can have a clean sheet and the goalie has 20 saves. You have a clean sheet and the goalie didn't see the ball. That's a massive difference. And so we can improve in all departments. We know that, but it's still when you have a clean sheet, then some things went absolutely right, and it's the main reason, I would say, the main reason for a win, because if you don't concede, you have to score 1, and that is, from all goal scoring results, is the easiest one, because if you need 5, it's more difficult, but 1, with the quality we have and can bring on a pitch, should be able to do that. And from there, I would love to go on, but again, it's okay.
In the current season, when you chase to get that top 4 spot, how much does that experience help your players as well as you're chasing the top 4 spot now?
Yeah, it helps because it was us. So you don't have to tell them a story from another club or another team or stuff like this. But we have a lot of stories to tell what went really well in the last few years, and long winning streaks. Oh, I don't know. Didn't we break a record years ago for home? Didn't lose at home. Was it not us as well? 60. Well, no, sounds really a lot. 63. Nobody your face, you can't even believe that it was us. But
Did subtitles in erotic 663? Oh, by the way, guys, I am not in charge of these subtitles at all. I just turn them on. I got nothing to do with it. Oh God, that is hilarious.
But it's not. So it helps. But again, if it's history is not allowed, and history is as well what was last week, by the way, it's not allowed to hinder you, but it's not the only. You cannot constantly rely on it. Did it before. Let's do it again. So we have to make sure. But we are really, honestly. Okay, I wouldn't tell you if we wouldn't be in the right mindset, but I really see we have the right mindset, so we are ready to go. But now we have to really do it as well, because then a game is different. That's how it is. You have an opponent who wants the points as well, and we have to go against that. And we have to create, we have to attack, we have to defend, we have to protect, we have to do a lot of things. And I know the boys can do that, and let's give it a try.
Okay.
Carl up the back.
You said that this week you need to hopefully give the season a bit of a push. It feels like almost all year you've been looking for that little boost and get you on the momentum. But as we enter March, does it almost focus the minds a bit more, even in this season where fixtures aren't as they would normally be? You get to March, I think, like, we need to now put this one together. We are running out of time.
I lost it when you spoke about March. What is to do with March?
We get to March in the season, and you're thinking, a couple of years ago, you went on that run and not.
Yeah, we should not move it to April or May. Yes, that's true.
It's always felt like there's plenty of games to correct what's gone on before, but obviously we get to March, and there's still 15 league games left. But
that's 45 points. Yeah, that would be a good moment. It would be a really good moment. Yes, you can imagine that's exactly what we want to do. We want to do this 3 games ago. So, to be honest, we got 7 points from these 3 games, but the last one we drew, and I said it, and I know 100%. I didn't listen or read anything, but when I said it's the same game like we played before without scoring, and people, but it's the most important stuff. I know. Cannot change the other facts as well. So. Yeah, we have to force it as well, but we have to play. We have to enjoy what we are doing. Really, really important. And I really think we are ready. We are ready. If there's a club who can do that, I really think it's us. Honestly, I really think, because all the things we achieved in the last years, we achieved together. Nothing would have happened. neither without the team nor without the crowd. Nothing. And we have a future together. So yes, the immediate future from tomorrow on, or when I leave the press conference, but there's a bigger picture as well. So we have a future together. So and we will strike back in general, but now we have to make sure that we really squeeze everything out of this season what we can get out of the season. And I don't know in this moment what it will be, but the obvious spots are not too far away from us, and we will see which one we can pick up. But there's no alternative to results. So we need results, and for results we need performances. And performances we prepare on the training pitch, in the meeting room, and then we go. So one more session, two more meetings, and vamos.
Yeah, just about being in the situation in general this season, because you have had a lot of players out at various times. You said it take a while to come back. Is that a consequence, do you think, of last season? Because a lot of players have had muscle injuries and quite serious muscle injuries at times.
Yeah, for sure. Some, like not only the was immediate impact from last season, I would say, when then, for example, Diogo got injured during the international period, came back, was back, injured again. For sure, that's something. Well, that then other injuries were affected by long season, short break and short preseason, and then some, well, as well, some from Ibu and Verge were after the World Cup. So I don't think it was not too. The last season was too influential for that, but in general, the amount of games might have been influential. We had bad knee injuries, if you want, with obviously Luis, which was an impact. Ibu's first injury was with an impact at the end of the preseason. So yeah, it's all there. Of course, it depends on each other, but the most difficult thing is then just when you have too many injuries, then the problem is that the other players have to play too often, and then they get injured when the other players come back, but they need time to be the best at their best, and then that's a bit the situation you are in. Yeah, so we didn't have yet the full squad together on the training pitch, but last week it was like without Thiago and Lucho, and there were 26 players out there on the pitch without not goalies not counted, so I mean makes it then 28. So when they're all in, the squad is not too small. It's not that we don't have players, but never had them together. And most of the time we have 6, 7, 8 players out. So now we don't have that amount, and hopefully it stays like this. And it would be massively helpful for this decisive part of the season.
You're on the breakout, taking an embargo until 10:30 p.m. today.
Yeah, just pick up on Lewis. Have you got a game in mind where you think it might be ready for? And do you think it?
Oh, you bastards! There we go. There we go. That's
I
why.
enjoyed that. You see my chocolate watching the press conference.
What chocolate you got?
Marvelous Creations, Dairy Milk.
Yeah, Cadbury. Has to be Cadbury. There is no other chocolate. No, you've got a bit of money and Lint's all right, but it's Cadbury's or nothing. I like doing that. I like doing that press conference because what I hate taking quotes from what Klopp says and trying to manifest something into them quotes that might not be true. So I do like listening to the full press conference and seeing everything he says. Obviously, the embargo section will be later tonight, and we'll get that probably tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But you know, I think they were just about to ask a question there, weren't they, about when they think Diaz will play again. So I'll be interested to see from that. But Kev, your reaction from that press conference, apart from the mad subtitles.
A lot of talk about mums.
I don't know what these subtitles. My favourite thing in them subtitles was the erotic 669.
No. Being serious, I'm really pleased that Evil is back in training this week. Can't wait to see him.
Evil. Oh my god. Oh, these subtitles, man. I don't know where they got them from. Whoever's doing that job. Jesus. I could do a video just doing YouTube reactions with subtitles on on my channel. Be mad. I should put subtitles on my channel after. See how it comes out. That's what I should do. But yeah, in all seriousness, Cav, what do you think of the? What's your reaction after that?
Didn't really tell us much, really, did he? A bit of an update on some of the players. Thiago's obviously still out. Sounds like it's going to be out for a while yet. Diaz looks like he's a bit closer, maybe 2 to 3 weeks away. It looks like Konate's back, which is really positive. Who else is there? Nunes. He's obviously got a shoulder injury. Trained yesterday. Just see if it flares up today. But if it's as good as it was yesterday, it looks like he'll be back in the team. So that's all pretty positive. It didn't really tell us much other than that, really. There was pretty like run-of-the-mill sort of comments, weren't they? Like nothing dramatic in terms of how he reacted to the last game. Just looked like it was usual kind of proceedings back in training, analyse the game, and look ahead to sort of Wolves. So, yeah, nothing really to go through significantly, I don't think.
Yeah, you know what? I say this many times. I get annoyed by the questions. A lot of them are very cooker cutter questions that, you know, they're not. Sometimes you want a question that's got a bit more depth to it, so he has to give you a bit more of an answer. You know, like most of the questions, like how do you feel? You know what colour socks you got? They're that kind of question, aren't they? They're like very easy. You know, I don't want to humiliate Jurgen or anything like that in a press conference with like. But I want questions that have got a bit more depth to it, if that makes sense. That he just has to give us something a little bit more, something a little bit different. Now, really, it was just like he's happy with the clean sheets in the last few games, which, as a manager, you should be. That is always a bonus, clean sheets. It might mean you're doing something right. But like you said, also, Ali is making a lot of saves. And obviously, you like Ali making saves because he's a good goalkeeper. But there's ways of, you know, playing better where, you know, Ali don't have to make a save in the whole match. So he did allude to it that, yeah, we're defending okay, but our goalkeeper is bailing us out at times. And, you know, about actually saying them words and making the team to press. But you can get the gist of what he was saying with that answer. But the good news is that Konate is back. I don't know about you, Kev, but he's been desperately missed.
Yeah, because he's the one guy this season who's been good. Like, he's not always been available, but he's been good. Like, we've got out of him what we expect. And obviously, he's a commanding centre-back, big, strong, wins headers, pacey. Not many people can beat him. Even when they do beat him, his recovery pace bails him out and stuff as well. He's strong. If you side to side with him, shoulder to shoulder, you stand no chance, to be honest with you, because he'll just lean on you and he'll just get you off the ball. So he's massive. I can't remember how many times this season we've seen him alongside Virgil as well, which is our first choice centre-back pairing, I think, now. And then that makes our first choice back four. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the rest of the team. It's crazy because this Liverpool side, although we didn't look like creating last week, the defence actually plays a part in how we can attack as well. Because once the guys in attack have confidence that the guys are going to defend behind them, they'll maybe try and take more risk or be a bit more adventurous and this and that. So, yeah, Konate coming in, covering Trent in the right back position at times and stuff as well. Stepping in and being aggressive if he has to be. Wolves are going to come with players that they can either go with Acosta. I think Mateus Cunha is out, but they go with Costa, is quite physical, strong, tries to get his body about and stuff. Or they can go with the pace, and Konate can deal with both of those things. So that's encouraging. He doesn't really have a mistake in him as well. Bloody hell, touch wood. But, you know, that's one thing that Gomez and Matip, you know, seem to struggle with, is they can have good games, but they will make one mistake in the game that ultimately costs us, whereas Konate seems to be more reliable in that sense. So, yeah, he's massive coming back into the side, just fills everybody with a bit more confidence. At least it will be defensively stronger, maybe get a clean sheet. Then, as I say, I think it has a bit of a ripple effect up the team and gives people more confidence to go out and try and get the goal. So, yeah, pleased he's back. Just a case of keeping him fit now.
Yeah, exactly. Big up RJ. Yeah, like and subscribe, guys. I think we are on It's over 110 people here, 111 people, and it's only 60 likes. So everyone go and press that fun button. Let's get likes up to 100 if we can, please. If you're not pressed it already, leave a like on the video. I do appreciate it. We are slow without Ibu and Darwin. Yep, I agree. Right, we're going to talk about Darwin because, you and me, big fans of Darwin. We've always been there since he signed. And, a lot of people were doubted him and stuff like that. I think you realise how important he is to us now when he doesn't play.
Mhm.
To our attack. Jota, I love Jota, don't get me wrong. But Jota can't do what Darwin does, with that pace, energy, that movement off a defender. Salah, his form is all over the shop at the moment. You don't know when he's good, you don't know when he's bad. Sometimes he looks great, has a good performance. Then, like against Palace, he won against the bar, but other than that, it was nothing. And Darwin is just that player at the moment. And what I will say, Darwin is, he's improved this season as the season's gone on, ain't Kev? You can see the improvements to his game as the season's gone on as well, which you've got to give him a lot of credit for because a lot of people get telling me he's a dead player, he's a flop, he's this, he's that. I've been saying it for a while. I think he's got the most potential every forward we have at our football club right now. And that is including Gakpo and including Luis Diaz as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was on this show months back before Christmas saying we can all slander Darwin now, but I almost guarantee come the end of this season, we'll be reliant on him. I can remember saying it because you can just tell, like his attitude alone, and how he just approaches the game with his energy and his fight and his want to win. Like there's been maybe 3 games where Nunes has just been sort of not in the game, partly because we've not created chances for him, but also it's just not been really that significant. But you can almost count on him every single time to sort of give you that fight and that want to win in the team. And at times I feel like the rest of the side, especially against Palace, they just don't really show that. They just don't show. They play the game like it's a friendly, like they're kind of happy to get a point. And it's like, no, come on, this is the Premier League. Like you should be fighting for everything you can possibly get. And I feel like Darwin's sort of approach in that sense is just infectious on the rest of the team in a good way. So without him and his attitude, obviously his ability in terms of his pace, his willingness to run in behind, he'll battle for every ball. He's actually good at tracking back and helping cover. Well, not so much cover Robbo, but on that, when he does start out on that left, he will get back and try and defend and he will press. So when he's not there, we just look a completely different side now. So as bad as his finishing has been at times, he's just so crucial to us at this stage that we look a shadow of what we are without him. And hopefully he's back and hopefully his shoulder's fine so that he can go out and just perform as he has been. Feel like like you say, he has been improving as well. Feel like his touch, his control, his link up with other players, it's not fantastic, but it's almost good enough at this stage. It's relatively basic when he links up with people around him, although he has put in a few good passes to players that they should have done better with. But he's been okay at that stuff. He's improved on that stuff. And then obviously he's always been a threat, a goal threat. And he took his chance what was the last goal he scored? Against Newcastle. So, he's starting to find the back of the net now Madrid, as well. Madrid, brilliant finish. Absolutely brilliant run and brilliant finish. So he's now starting to, finish off these chances as well. So, look, he improves his finishing and he improves that link up. What a player he's going to be. And I'm fully behind him. And I totally agree with you. I think his ceiling's bigger than everybody's in our club, to be totally honest with you. I wouldn't even stop at the forwards. I would say, Ali aside, because Ali's different as a goalkeeper and I think he is the best in the world. But I think the ceiling and the heights that this guy can reach is above everybody else's in the club, to be honest.
He's 23. I mean, it's just the potential he's got. He can be whatever he wants, in my opinion. And you can tell he wants to learn. He definitely wants to learn. Does he bitch about playing left wing all the time at the moment? No. He's going out. I think it's actually helping his game, by the way. I think that's helping his game as well, develop playing out there. He's developing his game playing left wing, then going back into the 9. He's very transitional into them 2 positions. And it looks like it looks like it suits him being able to go from left to central to left and be comfortable in both positions at the moment. Because I look at Darwin, I go, I've never once thought when he's playing out in left wing, he don't look comfortable out there. That's never crossed my mind ever. And then when he plays centrally, I'm like, he looks the same. You know, I think that's adding to his game as well. What Aaron says here as well, Kev, we just look one-dimensional about Darwin. What do you think about that?
Well, I'd say we look one-dimensional with him, but the difference is when the ball's played into him, usually something happens. Yeah, and that is because the ball played into him is usually in behind the defence, and he's so quick and his movement's so good that he's in on goal. Now, obviously, the finishing's not been great, but like I don't think we play any different with him. We just, instead of knocking hopeless balls into the box and hopeless kind of crosses launched upfield to people that aren't making the runs, actually he is. And I think that's the only real difference. The Trent assist to him is a perfect example. It's like, it's a long ball, and Trent will always look to pick out that direct assist from deep. But with Núñez, he actually, makes something happen with it. He'll at least get on the end of it, whereas everybody else just gets defended out of it. I mean, if we've seen it with Diaz running across the centre back, and we've seen it with Jota, he scored similar goals, But 9 times out of 10, especially at this point in time, Gakpo's new and Jota's coming back from fitness, them kind of hopeful balls up the pitch, they just won't work. They just won't work because they're just not at the physical state yet, or the understanding of the team to start picking up them balls and damaging the goal, so to speak. So I feel like we are becoming very one-dimensional, and that's why I think Núñez is so crucial to us at the minute, because that single dimension, only he is making the most out of at the minute.
No, I agree. And do you know what else Darwin does? No one else. He stretches the game. Mm-hmm. And when the game is condensed and we can't get out and we're having trouble getting out sometimes, like against Real Madrid in the second half, you saw it when Darwin went off in the second half. The game came really condensed and we had no way out. We couldn't feed the ball anywhere. Darwin stretches teams. Like, it might be like people might hate it, but them lost balls that no one else chases, he does. And look what he sometimes, when he gets a reward, when he gets onto them, like he creates a chance out of nowhere. He might not be like taking a shot on himself, but because he's done it and he's chased a lost ball down and he's got hold of the ball because of his pace, then we've got the team pushes up, and because the team pushes up, you've got more chances of something happening at the other end. When you play at the moment as Salah, Gakpo and Jota, you haven't really got that. They're not really go and chase lost causes, because Gakpo's coming towards the ball at the moment. Jota's only just getting his fitness back, so he can't really do that yet. And I just don't know what Mo's doing right now. But this is why I think Luis Diaz and Darwin together will be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because they're the only two players who stretch the opposition we got in the front three at the moment. And they would chase, they would stretch oppositions. Diaz will want to run off the shoulder of the fullback. He will want to isolate the fullback. Darwin will want to isolate the space that he can run into. Together as a partnership, when they are fit next season and working on it, their game in pre-season, I think that's an exciting combination next year for us. I really do.
Yeah, you can imagine as well, if we go back to that high sort of press and gem pressing, that those two guys just naturally, they want to sort of chase the ball. They want to press people and close down and stuff. And then if it say the defenders bypass that press and they work their way out, they will actually react and run back and track back and try and win it again. They have that aggression in their game. And that's where I'm quite excited about that partnership, is that we'll win so many balls higher up the pitch because of them. And obviously then, as we've seen in the past with the famous front three, is once you win the ball high up on the pitch, you're usually 1 or 2 passes away from having to go at goal. And look how successful we've been with that. I don't think it quite works at the minute, because the forward line, they don't understand the press as a unit. And then you've often seen Salah get frustrated. I mean, it's been clipped up and put online now, where Salah's kind of done a press and he's expecting men to be sort of supporting him, and he's turned around and then no one's there and he's sort of throwing his hands around. So, I'm hoping when them two guys come back, yes, intelligently, I'm hoping that Klopp teaches them how to do the press properly and where to be positionally and what the triggers are to go and run and close down. But at the very least, they'll be better than what we've got at the minute, because naturally they're aggressive fighting players. So that's exciting. I'm still a little bit jury's out on whether they can work as a pair though, because Diaz and Nunes are really good players, but as a partnership, I'm not sure if if they complement each other. I think they might be quite similar in how they play and where they want to occupy the space. And I've often thought that maybe you would need to have one or the other with the facilitator as the 9. So it probably won't be Bobby now, but a Bobby style player with one or both of them would be fine, because he'll be the guy that sacrifices himself to open up the space for each other. But I just think maybe it might be a bit too much chaos. But
unless they change the system, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Unless the system or tactics change. I mean, if you do a 4-3, I don't know, 4-2-3-1 or something like that, and Diaz is a little bit deeper, and you've got that midfielder in between Diaz and Darwin, then that could work. In a 4-3-3, I get what you're saying, because the way we play a 4-3-3, Darwin naturally drifts into a left position just because of the way he plays, and Luis Diaz drifts inside from a left position, so they're going to come into that space together.
But even if Diaz picks up the ball wide left, he needs the space to isolate the man, the fullback. So
that's why you need that. That's why you need that 10. Really, if you get that 10, that's pulling other midfielders or defenders away, and you get in your eyes. You know, and Luis Diaz can isolate, and you're going to get Darwin in the box, because we see what Darwin can do when he does get in the box with his one-touch finishing. He's actually quite good. That's what Darwin wants to do. You see the times he has got in the box with one-touch finishing, it's good. But we ain't got the players to do that for him right now, and that's
the service is terrible right now.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's why Darwin's played out left. I want to get your opinion though on, and Pat-Man's right. Diaz, if Diaz plays with Nunes, Nunes is getting more chances in front goal rather than getting him high. Nunes will have to improve his finishing for that to work well. Yeah, improve it. Look, that's what I'm saying. You can see Darwin's games improving all season, and look at him when we don't have him at the end of the day. We don't look the same team right now. But one player I want to talk to you about, Gakpo. Now, I don't know where I stand on him at this moment in time as a player. As he's come to Liverpool, he's naturally been a left winger at PSV. We know for the Dutch team, he played about all around the front three, really, and in the number 10 role. But I always say with international football, sometimes you play at a position because they want the best players to start. So that sometimes happens. But at Liverpool, he's mainly played through that central area, number 9 position. You see when Jota played the other day, Jota, I think, is a better 9 than Gakpo. But Gakpo's a better left winger than Jota. You know, Gakpo stayed the 9. Jota stayed out wide. Darwin stays out wide. Gakpo stays the 9. Do you think Klopp and the team are experimenting something with Gakpo? Because we know Bobby has got a couple of months left on his deal. He hasn't signed a new deal yet. If they're experimenting with Gakpo in this false 9 position, if that's the case, and then you've got a Darwin and a Jota still around as well, you don't need Bobby, right? There's no point of having him. But I keep saying this, and I will always say this. Gakpo will never be a better false 9 than Bobby Firmino. But he's a left winger, naturally. But I don't think he then gets in front of Diaz, who's a better left winger.
Yeah.
So what do we do with Gakpo?
Well, my opinion's slightly changed on him. I think when he first came, I was sort of saying, look, he's a left winger for PSV. Play him left wing. Like, he cuts in, he's got a good shot on him, and he's often picking out people in the box with his crossing, often at the back post and stuff, just through like the bit of research I did on him. And I was like, just do that, and then have Nunes as your centre forward, who is a centre forward naturally, and that'll be fine. I've got to admit, before I go on, and I watched the first 5 performances of Gakpo thinking, okay, I know he's new, but I've not really seen anything. And I'm thinking, I understand it's difficult. Liverpool aren't playing well right now. We're not creating chances. There's nothing particularly fluid in this side. And it's going to be very difficult for somebody to come in and perform well. But I almost wanted to see something, like just give me a moment or a few moments in a game where I'm like, oh, okay, that's what he possesses, or that's the quality he has. And I didn't see it. And I was kind of getting to a point where I was like, not writing him off. I'd never do that. It was way too early. I was just judging what I was seeing. And I was a bit like, I know this guy's good, and I know he's got quality because he's Dutch, and I know he comes with that technical ability, and his touch is nice, and he's a tall lad, and he's relatively strong. So I know he has got something about him, but I wonder if he's just going to be a player that only you see the best out of if the team's playing well. And I was like, and I don't want the whole team to be playing well for you to be able to perform, because I feel like this side needs people that are like sort of water carriers, if you like, you know, that just grab the game by the scruff of the neck and make things happen. And what I would say is, since the sort of Everton game onwards, I have seen that improvement in him. I have seen some of that ability now. It seems like he's slowly starting to find his feet and his position. I think is that kind of false nine position. I've seen him come deep. His first touch is always very good. At the start, the first few games, he was trying to flick it to players and stuff, and it looked good, but it weren't often working. Whereas now he's getting the ball and he's turning, and I like that. He's turning and he's facing goal and he's driving forward. And at this moment in time, he's not quite connecting the passes, or he'll run into a man and he'll be dispossessed or whatever. But at least I'm seeing that sort of drive forward. And I like that. I'm seeing the touch, I'm seeing the turn, I'm seeing the strength, I'm seeing the willingness to get forward and be direct, which is something he said, which he come out a few weeks ago and said, oh, I'm a direct player. And I like that. And that's where I'm like, oh, this false nine position might be good for him. I agree with you. He's never going to be Bobby, because Bobby's level of skill and technical ability and creativity and all of this, I think, is on another level. I don't think you'll see many false nines that ever get to that kind of peak Bobby level. But he might be good enough. And if he can add goals, that's something that Bobby didn't do particularly well, then I'm happy to continue seeing him in this false nine position. And I'm seeing the improvement. So now I'm a bit like, as long as that progression continues, and as long as he keeps turning up in these games and he keeps doing those things and, you know, being the facilitator for the other forwards and driving the team on and stuff, I'm cool with it. It's not, I'd hoped he'd be better at this stage, but I'm also seeing enough to think, actually, towards the end of this season and then going into next season, he probably could be a guy that, you know, nails down that nine position for himself. And then it's a decision of who you play out on the wings. So, yeah, my opinion of him is improved as the games are going on. I know he scored 2 in 2, didn't he? I don't go into the game looking at him as the main guy that's going to sort of get us goals or be the main creator. I don't have that much confidence in him yet.
I don't think Klopp thinks that either, and that's I think with Gakpo, and you are right. I just think Liverpool are experimenting with something right now, because he would have been shifted over to the wide areas if they weren't experimenting with something. They're looking at something, and I think the Bobby things in their mind is that I don't know if they naturally thought that buying Gakpo would be a number 9. I think they thought they'd just buying a versatile attacker that they can play across the front three, be a great squad addition and a great addition to the team. But with the Bobby situation going on and on and on, we're not hearing nothing that he's signed yet. No, there's a 2.5-year deal there for him. I don't know if Bobby's going to do it. And the more you see Gakpo playing his false 9 role, you're thinking, because I look at it and I think Klopp, I've always said this, Klopp fell into a system at Liverpool where he got Robbo and Trent, right? And they were so creative at fullbacks that he changed the system to accommodate his fullbacks being the creative sparks. Got a midfield that he made more workmanlike, which to protect the back four and to allow the fullback to do what they did creatively. And then he had a tremendous world-class front three in Mane, Salah and Bobby. And he fell into something. And like managers get lucky. Not every manager creates something. They get lucky, but then they work on that and they get a great squad. And he built from that. Then I think they went away from that a little bit and tried to become a more tactical side where it was more passing, more possession-based game. And I feel that doesn't help Salah. I don't think Salah likes playing in that kind of I think he made a thing of it in an interview once, didn't he? Don't really like playing in that sort of tactical formation where he has to be out a bit wider because we're playing this possession-based game. And now I think Klopp wants to actually go back to what he fell with in the first time and made success, is that, you know, getting the fullbacks forward more, because I've noticed in recent games Trent and Robbo are getting forward a bit more now than they did previously. The midfield three are meant to be that work from three. He's got Gakpo as the false 9. Darwin at left winger is like the Mane role, and then you've got Mo doing Mo. So I think he's fell back into something. He's experimenting with saying, if this goes into next season, who knows? He's going to have a longer pre-season. We know Klopp said the pre-season this one was too short and he couldn't work on things he wanted to work on. So this summer he's got a longer pre-season now, but he's going to work on this. If Bobby goes, Gakpo's your false 9. Then you've got a Jota who can play left wing and number 9. You've got a Darwin who can play left wing and number 9. You've got Diaz who for me can only play left wing. Then you've got Mo who can play right wing and Elliott right wing. So that would be Liverpool's attack if Bobby leaves. If Bobby stays for 2.5, this is the problem. If Bobby signs a new deal and stays for 2.5 years, you're paying him wages for 2.5 years. And we're saying Gakpo is younger. We've just paid for him, so you feel like he's going to play more than Bobby. What's the point of keeping Bobby? It's a weird one they've got themselves into. My thing as well, and Colin says it here, and I've been saying it for a while, I wouldn't be shocked if we start to see Gakpo come deeper in his positioning. It wouldn't shock me if he becomes like a 10. Maybe that's what Klopp wants. Maybe he's experimenting this because he can't play for 10 right now because where we are in the season, we just got to get the season done with, yeah? But maybe he's looking at him playing the Gakpo in his false 9 because he's thinking maybe he can play the 10 role and he is that player that can play behind Darwin as the 9 and then I'll get Diaz back on my left-hand side. Maybe that's the triangle he's looking at the future, Kev. I'm not sure.
Possibly, yeah. It might be that he looks to go with like a 4-man attack next season when everybody's sort of back and fit. Why?
I'll take it as FIFA. I have no idea about it.
We played last night and I got sent off in the 20th minute and I had to sit and watch the rest of the game. Anyway, maybe he goes to a 4-man attack and then you start to question where he would play. I think in terms of his physique, his height, his physicality, his touch in tight areas, his ability to sort of link up with everybody around him, he's probably one of the better players out of all the forwards at doing that. So it makes sense as to why he'd think he'd be that sort of 10. But I don't know how much of a hard worker he is and how much he sort of will track back and do his sort of defensive side of things. That's probably, I think when he's in an attacking situation, he's good. But I think in transition, getting back, I don't think he naturally reacts and tracks back like a Nunez and Darwin and stuff would, which is fine as long as you set up the system to make sure that the fullbacks, the wingers come back and you just leave your striker and your 10 up top. You know, teams do that, defending a 4-4-2 and he's just one of the guys you sacrifice and don't ask to come back or whatever. But maybe, I'm not so sure an 8 would work for him. I know that's been suggested by some corners of the fan base. I don't think his all-round game's good enough, but I can kind of see why, based on his physicality, that he would maybe people would think like that. I personally think at this point in time, as much as I would like to see a sort of a 4-2-3-1, I do think it will probably be 4-3-3 next season, and I think he will rotate between being the false 9 or any of the other 2 positions. Like, I'm not ruling out that he might play on the right, in some games, because if you've got Diaz and Nunez available, I think Diaz might play right on occasion. I think Gakpo might play right on occasion. I think next season, if Salah's still here, I don't feel like you'll see him half as much. Well, not half as much, that's exaggerating. But I don't think you'll see him as much starting as many games as you are doing at the minute and have done. I think that Diaz and Gakpo, like I say, might take that right wing position in certain games. So
we might not even see Salah at all next season.
And there's that. Yeah,
which is we could look. I don't think people might have thought this through yet. We might be here next season, the start of the summer, first game of the season, the original front 3 have all gone. Salah and Bobby could all leave this summer. And if you look at the way what we bought as well, you got Jota in, Diaz, Darwin, Gakpo. That's a new forward line. And they might be thinking like, look, we're talking about the wage bill. Who's the biggest earner? They want to cut that wage bill down a little bit. There's only one player leaving.
I think if Salah's gonna go, I think that would already been agreed. I think at the point in which he signed that contract, there'd have either been an agreement that he's here to honour that contract and stay for almost the remainder of his career. He'll probably get one move to a club that's probably of a lesser size than Liverpool, just to see out his final sort of years. Or it would be you sign on to sort of hold value. We'll give you the money you want for a season, and then you can go on to a club of Liverpool's stature, or maybe slightly with more financial sort of power, i.e. PSG or something like that. I think it's already agreed. I don't see Salah getting to the end of the season and sort of going back on whatever he sort of agreed at the time of signing the contract. Do you know what I mean? There might be a situation where he looks back on the season and goes, I'm not happy with how that went, and I'm also not very confident in the future. But and I want to move on and try a different league and do something different. But I'd be surprised because he only just signed that contract, and I think he'll sort of honour whatever he agreed at the time.
I don't think Mo wants to leave, but it might not be on Mo. That's the thing. If Liverpool get 70 million from Mo, right, like from PSG, I don't think Liverpool can turn it down because they're going to be looking at it thinking, right, wages need to be cut down a bit. He's our highest earner. You're never going to get that money from Mo again. It might be too difficult for the club to turn down. They know they need to rebuild. We know our FSG run. The rebuild needs to happen in the summer. Like Mark here says, he could see Diaz playing right wing. That's Gakpo left wing, Diaz right wing, Darwin through the middle. There's your brand new front three.
Yeah.
We don't know what the club are thinking, obviously, but I mean, I think I've seen Diaz play on the right a few games in game where he's transferred over to the right hand side and played a bit and looked quite decent. Obviously, they'd have to. I don't know if he could do it full time, but then Mane was the right sided forward before Salah come, and then he transitioned to the left and did quite well, didn't he? So, and Salah could play. Salah could play left wing, of course he could, but it's coming inside on his weak other foot. That's why he plays on the right.
Yeah.
So that's maybe something to look out for. That may be something to look out for in the future as well. I'm not sure, but I like Gakpo. As you say, I think he has improved. There's parts of his game that I really like. He does hold up the ball really well. He's strong. He's got a good turn of pace through the middle. I don't know if he's got a good enough turn of pace out wide, and that's the difference. That his pace on the turn through the middle is very good. The way he picks up the ball deep in the midfield and he runs with it through the middle. That pace through the middle is excellent. Even your dog agrees. And out on the wide areas, I'm not sure he's got the same pace. I'm not.
Let me go. So
you all right? Yeah, don't talk your dog out. It's fine.
Come here. Chill. No, she's all right. I think the postman's been. Sorry.
Right,
sorry,
no,
mate.
You're all right.
Go on.
No, you're fine. You're fine. What we're going to do? We're going to pick the team for the Wolves game. Now we've heard the press conference and all that. I think we can.
This might be an exciting team. A couple of players back into this lineup now. This could be quite a good one, and we might have some options on the bench. Jesus, not been able to say that too many times this season.
No. Right. Let's get this up. Obviously, we're going to play 4-3-3 because I'd love to play another formation, but we have to be realistic here. It's going to be 4-3-3 at the end of the day. Let's put us there like that, and let's just move that up a tad. Right, Cav. Let's start. Let's go forwards first. What are we saying? Who's your preferred forward three?
I would go with Salah, Gakpo, and Nunes. I personally, I think going off what Klopp said, I think it looks like he's going to be okay to play. So I'd stick him in. I think he's so crucial. I also think Jota just looks like he's a few games away from being sort of back to the Jota that we know. He looks a yard off the pace, doesn't quite look sharp. He's getting in the right positions. Don't get me wrong. He had a couple of chances to sort of get a goal last time out, but he just doesn't quite look like he's impacting the game like he would want and like we would expect. So I think he's probably just the guy that needs to just come off the bench for get 2 or 3 games before starting again, just to build himself up. Because at this point in time, we can't afford to carry too many players that aren't 100%. Like, we generally need everybody to be fighting. And when you've got an option like Nunes, who will give you that fight, I think you have to put him in.
I agree. And there's pictures coming out of training as we speak, and this might cheer you up a bit.
Oh.
So these pictures are from training today, coming out today as we speak right now. So, yeah, Darwin looks fine to me.
I've ordered that training top, by the way.
It is a nice top. I
kept seeing it, and I seen Virgil in it the other day, and I was like, nah, screw this, I'm getting that. So I ordered it. And I got the white one coming as well, which is going to last 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's the only problem. Right, let's get Darwin, Gakpo, and Mo. I do think at the moment that is our best front three right now, as we are right now.
I hear people saying that maybe they'll drop Salah and put Elliott in, just as a bit of like a change, just to mix it up a little bit, and also because Elliott's.
I don't think we can right now.
I think we're at a point really, and this is kind of my stance for the remainder of the season: is think about what players are going to be starters next year, and try and get them players on the pitch as much as possible so they can work on their game together, and then obviously, hopefully going into next season, they'll have already that confidence in each other and that link up to sort of just hit the ground running again next season.
Yeah, definitely. Scraps, I mean, like right in this moment, Darwin, Gakpo and Salah. Next season, it'll probably be Darwin, Diaz and Salah. But yeah, right now, as we speak
I think with the improvement Gakpo's shown, I feel like come next season, he definitely will be in the conversation. Definitely. I think at this point in time, yeah, he is a bit average, but he's improving game by game. And I think, with 15, 16 games remaining of the season, I think that's enough for him to continue improving. So then you have his pre-season, go into next season. I feel like he will be, at least one of the positions you'll be having to question whether he should be in or not.
Good point. Ensman big up. He says, "What are your thoughts on Darwin in the middle and Elliott for this one?" I don't know. This is a must-win game. I just feel like Klopp's going to go tried and trusted. I get you, though. I think I don't blame. I could see if Darwin's fit. The way Klopp was talking at press conference, he was bigging Jota up a lot, and he said he will be involved in this game in some way. So it's either starting or on the bench. Now, I think you got more chance, and I don't like this, by the way, but I think we got more chance right now with Jota starting at right wing instead of Salah than we have with Harvey Elliott right now. I just feel like that might be the only change, because if Darwin's fit, I think Darwin comes in. But I think on form, Darwin, Gakpo and Salah are our strongest three right now. But I get what En's saying. I just don't know if Klopp's go. I'm not sure. I think we're at a stage now where he's just going to play the boys.
I think a lot of our goals as well are coming from sort of counter-attacks and stuff, where we're actually breaking on teams and, we're able to use that pace. And in them scenarios, Salah's your best option, really. I know Elliott ran forward and scored against Wolves from outside the box, but...
Big up, Mike.
I think the thing with Salah is we know he possesses that ability, and although he's not performing, you kind of just have to keep picking him just in hope that it just clicks one game. And he does have that ability, we've seen it against Real Madrid, where if someone makes a mistake and he's in the right area, he will just, tuck it away. So it's very hard because not that I'd love to, but I would like to drop Salah to sort of make a point to him that, look, them performances just aren't good enough. But at the same time, without having a genuine sort of, option that's you can trust, it's very difficult to do that. You just kind of have to hope that something clicks and that he just manages to have a good game, get into positions where he can affect the game, and obviously then get the goals and assists and stuff. I mean, he did get a goal and assist against Real Madrid, so he's still throwing up numbers even in games where I've walked away and felt like he wasn't good enough. So, and look, if we're gonna achieve anything this season, he's still going to be vitally important to us. Let's face it. So,
yeah, massively. Right, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did see an Elliott or a Jota start. It wouldn't surprise me at the same time. Midfield three, Cav. What's their strongest midfield three for this game?
well, Bisetic goes in unquestionably.
He had the last game off, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is he playing six? Is he playing six or off it?
I think he plays the 8. I think he plays the left side of the 8. Left side 8, sorry.
There he is. All right, who else?
Do you know what, actually? Do you know when I said earlier on, I think Nunes has got the biggest ceiling, the highest ceiling?
Yeah, we forgot about Stefan.
I did actually forget about Stefan. I must admit, yeah. I think Fab will play the 6.
We've got a comment here from Lewis.
Yeah, a few shouts for Arthur as well, actually, yeah.
Apparently he's been really good for the under 23s, is it? And apparently he's been a really good professional. He's given guidance to all the kids and all that, and apparently they're loving him. So apparently he's a proper good professional. I don't know if Arthur. I don't know what you got to lose really at this moment with our midfield. You know what I mean? If Arthur plays, is it going to be much different? Is it going to be a pro? I don't know, but I think Fab will play. Who takes the number 8 spot on the right? Hendo can't play this game. I'm going to put that out right now.
Yeah, Hendo started the past few. He needs to. I think he just needs to start off the bench on this one to protect his legs, and also because if we keep starting him in these games, his energy is just going to dwindle, and we know what he's like when he can't do all the running that he wants to do. He just on the ball, he's pretty terrible, isn't he? Like he was one of the guys. There's a lot of people that obviously don't like Henderson. I'm not one of them. You know, I get frustrated with him, but I'm not one of them. But I must admit that Palace game, when I kept seeing someone playing the ball and then he just turns backwards and plays the safe option all the time, it did frustrate me. It really did.
And it weren't just that. There was other moments in the game as well. And the thing is, Hendo, I've been saying it for a while. I love the guy. I got the man's book. I think he's a great guy, a great player for us. But we have got to start looking now. He's played for Jurgen Klopp now. He's been Jurgen Klopp's main midfielder for the whole Klopp era. Literally Klopp's main guy in midfield for the last 7 years. He's also been at the club now playing on a regular basis almost for 11 years.
Yeah.
You know, the toll on his body is massive. We can't keep playing him. And I don't want to see Hendo. So I don't hate him or anything like that. Just from a fan point of view, watching my team, Hendo needs to be dropped. It's as simple as that. And I don't want to see Milner in there either. I just think it's going to be Harvey Elliott.
I agree. It's either Elliott or it's Cater again, isn't it? Cater didn't have it.
There's no way Cater can play. I think Cater's Liverpool. I don't think we see him again. I think he's done. After that performance, if Klopp brings him back for the Wolves game after that performance against Palace, then we need to sit down Klopp with a therapist. It's just that'd be mental. That'd be mental.
I like the idea of Harvey going in. I think he's had quite a good season despite everything else that's going on. I love his attitude on the pitch. You can tell he's a real fan when he plays. The only downside with Elliott is that sort of link up with Trent and Salah on the right hand side. It looked like when Elliott first broke into the team that it was going to be really exciting and working dynamic. But when he got injured, comes back into the side, plays well as an individual, but his overall impact on the team and that's the right hand side especially, don't know if it quite works. And I know you've spoke on it before. I've done as well. kind of occupies them areas that Salah quite often wants to get into around the 18-yard box. And I think at times they kind of slow the game down and sort of look for each other too much in and around that right side of the 18-yard box. And when someone else plays, Salah's just left there alone and he tries to exploit the space. So sometimes it can get congested. But at the same time, Elliott's the guy that comes on as a sub, picks his head up and tries to pick people out in the box. You know, he put a good ball cross into the box last time out. I'm trying to remember who it was aimed at. Might have been Gakpo. But he's also one of the few people that's doing that, you know. So I'm willing to give it a try. Because, like you say, Henderson can't start. Naby started the last game, didn't play particularly well. And, Milner, I wouldn't necessarily want to see in this midfield up against the Wolves midfield. The only worry, I suppose, is protecting Fab. Fab needs legs around him.
Yeah. I mean, that is legs. I mean, to be fair, Stefan and Elliott are going to get around the pitch. But so Henderson cannot play. There's just no doubt about that. Keita ain't going to touch the grass after that performance against Palace. So them two are out. Then you got Milner. He played the last game at his age. I don't know if you can ask him to play again. So that's them three out.
What about Curtis?
And then you got Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones, I don't know if totally fit because he keeps suffering from shin splints. Then you've got
also,
Elliot.
Right, excuse my ignorance here.
Elliot,
but how is a professional footballer getting shin splints?
Fuck knows. I don't know how he gets most of his injuries.
If anyone knows better than me, please tell me. But the only time I get shin splints is if I have weeks off where I've not gone for a run and then I go for a run again. And maybe on the first run out and 2 runs, I'll get shin splints, but that's it. Like
the only people I know that get shin splints are like distance runners. They suffer from shin splints a lot because of the pressure they put on their legs constantly. But I don't know.
It might be a genuine thing.
But so if there's no Hendo shouldn't play this game because he's been terrible form. Milner shouldn't play this game because he played the whole of the last game and he's 37. Keita's never going to touch grass after that first half performance against Palace. So that's 3 out. Thiago's injured. So to start this game, gives a bit of energy. You got Arthur or Harvey Elliott. And the Ox. Unless he changes it up and goes with a double pivot for Fabinho and Stefan Bajcetic. And he plays the 4 of Jota, Gakpo, Darwin and Nunes.
He might well do that, you know.
He might. Could do that, you know. Hang on. Because it is at home as well. It is at home. Let me just...
And it might be his way of reacting to not creating too much in the last game, thinking I'll get an extra forward on. You know, Bobby's back now, so he's still an option off the bench if we need to sort of change it in forward line. Carvalho's back. I know he's not sort of one of the favourites in Klopp's eyes, is he? But I think Doak's back, but I think he played in the unders not too long ago, so I'm not sure if he'll be in the matchday squad. But the point I'm trying to make is even if you put 4 forwards on the pitch, you do have options to still bring off the bench because they're gonna need to come off the pitch at some point. They're not going to play the full 90.
No, but what if we start with that?
I like that. I do. I like that bit.
Well, because this is Wolves. We're not playing like we got Man United Sunday, so we've got to remember we got Man United the weekend. This game's one of our games in hand, I believe, so that's why we're playing it this weekend, isn't it? So we're awaiting. We need a win, and we need a proper win, and then you can. I don't know.
I like it. I'd like to see that, but
yeah, I mean, it might expose Fabinho a bit, but then the whole point in this formation is just to basically get the ball up to the front 4, ain't it? I mean, that front 4 can keep the ball. It's Wolves at home. You know, he's played this formation before and it worked quite well. It depends what he wants to go midfield-wise. This is the problem. I just don't want to see Henderson, Fabinho and Stefan Bajcetic. I don't want to see it. Hendo has played too many games and he's dead on his legs. Milner is 37, played the whole game against Palace, can't play. He even went to full back in that game. You know, you played him in 2 different positions. There's no way he can play this game from the start. Katie came off at half time for a disgusting performance. So him starting this game would make no sense. Thiago's injured. Harvey Elliott hasn't really been starting games lately. And then do you want to go Harvey, Stefan and Fabinho together? Or would you rather just get Jota, Gakpo, Darwin and Salah on the pitch? And if I was Klopp, I'd go with this.
Be brave.
And be brave. And that's what Klopp, to be fair, that's what Klopp used to be. You know, high, what is it he says? High risk, high reward?
Why not?
Fuck it. We're going for it for our team.
At the very least, what that does is when the teams come out onto, you know, they see the lineups and they're coming out the tunnel and they're preparing for the game, there's a little bit of fear factor that we can put into them there, thinking we've got 4 very different but very good forwards on that pitch. And it might just, you know, force them back a little bit, make them sort of question, you know, that pass that they make and take more care on the ball, which will make them sort of drop deep and things like this and help us get control in the game. Quite often I feel like we walk out and teams don't fear us anymore, you know, and we're already not defeated when we step on the pitch, but it's good to sort of go out there and sort of show somebody that we're going to go at you, you know, and there's going to be energy and there's going to be fight. And we're at Anfield and the crowd will feed into that as well and encourage that. So I like that lineup because it's the first sort of step you can make towards putting the fear into the opposition. So, you know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Klopp can always change it at half time, bring one of the guys off, get an extra midfielder in, but why not try?
And what I like as well, these 3 can all interchange, Darwin, Jota and Gakpo.
Yeah.
These are not static positions. Salah's the most static position. This also gets Salah more in front of goal playing this way as well. Also, this when releases, let's just do the fullbacks here. This then releases Trent to do what you want Trent to do, to get down these areas of the pitch. So we're going with Trent. Well, we're going left back. I've heard a lot of people saying Tsimikas should come in for Robbo. What's your feelings?
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm all right with that. I don't think there's any reason to drop Robbo. I don't think he's been bad.
Keeping fresh for United, maybe.
Yeah, if he needs to, if we need to sort of rest any bodies, it's the one position on the pitch that you'd be comfortable putting in your second choice and not having too much of an impact on the game. He's a good cross with the ball as well. Tsimikas. He played against Wolves. I'm not sure if it was last time out, but it was up against Adama, and he did really well actually. So why not? Why not give him a chance in this game? Yeah, I mean, when do we play United? Is that Sunday?
Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah. So they should. I mean, Kanate back in as well. I mean, that's huge. We spoke about him earlier, but just that partnership of Virgil and Kanate is and should be, you know, really difficult to break down.
That's our team. That is our team. That ain't a bad lineup, guys.
We say this every preview, though, Jay.
How that don't beat Wolves if Klopp plays that. You know, Tsimikas comes in, Robbo gets a bit of a rest. You get Trent. You play this way, you let Trent get a bit more attacking where we want him.
Yeah.
You got Kanate back in the team partner in Virgil. You know, you can always change Jota for Bobby if you want to play it that way, and Bobby can come a little bit deeper then and help out Stefan and Fabinho a bit more than Jota will. But you can still play that way. You know, and then you can, you know, get the game won. I think we should just look about getting the game won and then make changes. Really, just get the game won. Get a couple of goals before half time. Get the game done, and then, you know, change it up from there. But if Darwin's fit, he's got to play for me as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see us start strong. I'd like to see us start the game on the front foot, get the crowd behind us, and go out and attack them. You know, go out and attack them. Too often this season we've conceded the first goal, but let's just go out there with a positive mindset and attack this game. You know, and then whatever happens, happens. But I feel like we just need to get the crowd on side and have that momentum in the game. Because when we do, and the players have that confidence, you know, you start to see a dramatic difference in the performance individually and as a team. this team always plays like it's shot of confidence. They're always second guessing what they're doing and always playing the safe option. But if they can just, go out and attack and have that positive mindset, and like I say, try to build that momentum, get the crowd behind them and stuff, then they'll start to play better. And I think that's important. That's the push we need for the remainder of the season now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know everyone's saying like with that lineup we'll get smashed and there's no cover for Trent and all that. But guys, we've been playing 4-3-3 all season. We get smashed. So what? What's the difference right now? We play 4-3-3 against Palace and couldn't score a goal. I mean, literally, what is the issue? Well, I don't get the problem. I know it's Fabinho and Stefan as a back in midfield pivot too. You could change if you change Jota for Bobby. Maybe Bobby becomes a bit of a deeper midfielder and helps out with them there. But I don't think it matters what, if we play 4-3-3 and we play Stefan, Fabinho and Hendo, Gakpo, Darwin and Salah, is that any much better than that formation and set up right there? Really? I mean, I don't know. I'm just going on this on the midfielders that have been used, guys. Remember, Hendo's in terrible form. I doubt there's a person in the chat right now who wants to see Hendo start this game. Milner shouldn't start this game, so that's 2 of them out. Thiago's injured. Keita was awful in the last game. And why would he play this? Like, Keita starting this game makes 0 sense after what he did against Palace and the way he came off. So him starting this game makes no sense. So that's 4 midfielders down. Do you want to go midfield 3 of Fabinho, Stefan and Elliott? Or would you rather play that way? And there's no way Arthur plays. If Arthur plays, I'd be so shocked that... But then do you want a midfield 2 of Arthur and Fabinho? So what I don't know what many chances we got, to be honest, guys. I mean, maybe change it up a bit. Remember, last time he changed it up is because we didn't have the midfield options. Last time he changed it up, we didn't have the midfield options. And that's the reason. We have midfield options, but I just don't see Klopp putting Hendo in after that performance. Keita can't play after that performance. Milner played in 2 different positions in the last game only a few days ago, and he's 37, so he needs more rest. So that's 3 down. Thiago's injured. So is it just going to be 4-3-3 with Stefan Fabinho and Harvey Elliott? That'd be mad. And then Albert's saying about, does Trent start? Because Trent got pulled off again, didn't he? And his body language is a bit shocking. But then who plays right? Then who plays right back? Gomez, who's in terrible form, or James Milner, who played a whole game last match, who only a few days back.
That's the thing. I think Gomez is out injured, isn't he?
Gomez is injured, so Milner is the only right back, and Milner played midfield and right back for the whole 90 minutes against Palace. And that was only the weekend, and it's Wednesday, a midweek game. He's 37, so I don't think we've got much choice but to play this formation, really. Jamie Milner will start. He can't. It's madness. And that is one thing. If he does start and I've picked a formation like that I think would benefit us more. I've been saying it for a while. Our best players right now are our forwards. So we've got to build the team around the forwards and get the most out of them. And this gets the most out of them. Before we go, let's go scores. What are we saying for scores here? Oh, you've gone.
I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Liverpool.
2-1 win. I actually think we'll beat Wolves as well. I'm going 3-0. I think we'll beat Wolves quite handy. I don't know why. I think Darwin being back will help us expose Wolves a little bit. We've kept 3 clean sheets. Konate back in the team, I think, is a bonus. I'll go 3-0, and I don't know why. But yeah, I think. But when if I see Milner and Henderson in the midfield, then I'm just turning my telly off and not watching the game at all. So I can't be doing Milnerson again in not 2 games in a row. We got to just smash this Wolves team. Get the
we
big
won't
victory.
we won't see that. I'm actually going tomorrow night. So
sweet.
I'm hoping I don't see a Milner Henderson midfield. I'm looking first time I've seen Bessesi's live, so I'm looking forward to that.
You imagine driving up to Liverpool, all excited, you're buzzing, you can't wait, and then you see the team sheet of Milner and Henderson.
Okay, Morton will be in there, and everything. Reece at centre back. Right, okay, I just swerve the car and come back.
It's not on in UK, Jamie. Is it not? I thought it was. I thought it was a live game. Let me have a look. I thought it was a live game. It might not be actually, because we're not the only team playing, are we? Oh, hang on. Let me.
2 games on Wednesday.
Yeah. Let me have a look. Don't think it is actually. Oh, that's great. So I'll have to find a stream for that. Yeah, it's not been broadcasted in the UK. That is mad. That is mad. That it's an English game and it's not broadcast. But I've got to go. I've got to fly to Spain or something to watch it. That's mad.
So you sort of one you expect sort of Amazon Prime to have or something, wouldn't it? But...
Yeah, I mean it's a Liverpool game. You'd think Liverpool games would be on telly no matter what. To be fair.
Arsenal. Were you planning on doing a watch along for it? Or?
I would have done if it was live. It's just that I need to get myself a certain Fire Stick with a certain thing on it. So I've got to invest in one, man. I have to invest in one. But yeah, no, it's not on any platform. It's not on Amazon or anything. Neither is the Arsenal game. So why they're both not on, I don't know. Is there any European games on or FA Cup games?
I don't think so.
Mad.
It might be doing us a favour, guys. We might not want to see this game. So
no, I'm gonna get a dodgy stream and just cry. Guys, thank you very much for joining me and Cav. We do really appreciate it. Okay, I will end. I will. Right, guys, we're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today. Pat show as always. I'll be back sometime tomorrow with another show, guys. Then Thursday for the match review. So yeah, hopefully the match review is a fun match review. Big up everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.